Hey guys, gonna do another deck profile. Been a little bit since I did a video recently, but I'm gonna do a deck profile here on Mono Blue Beerus. It's the standard ramp that a lot of people have been playing with the priest. But I'm just gonna get into the deck profile. Let me know what you guys think, and yeah, sure. Started off with the Beerus leader. On the front side, you can KO a 2 or less when you have 3 energy when he attacks, and obviously awakens at 4, and then on the back side draws a card, and it can kill 3 or less on attack, and you could tap 16 to win the game, which is almost insane. Like it'll probably never happen, but I mean maybe some outside chance where you play like a mirror match or something, you might be able to get up there. But yeah, really good against aggro. My local's been a lot of aggro lately, so like I know the deck tends to like try and ramp to get out big Whis, but I mean just having Beerus leader and like all like the good blue cards, like you're able to survive a long time, and it's just really good versus aggro. Alrighty, let me adjust my camera here and we'll get into the deck profile. Okay. So we're going to start off with the 1-drops here. We got 4 Bulma. Solid 1-drop. Searches for your Whis, which is, I mean, crucial to the deck because you want to ramp as fast as possible. Just solid 1-drop. You got 4 Gowasu. Again, solid 1-drop. Searches the top 3 for a god. Just really good. It just draws a card basically, but he's also god himself, so he works with the priest to get you some extra mana in the late game. 4 Piccolo. 10k boost, you play 4 of it. It's nice because it is a god, so Gowasu can search for it. You probably never play it, but it's just nice that he can search for it. Kind of like Avenging Frieza can search for Dodoria. It's just pretty neat that they can get their 10k boost. It's really important. We have no 3-drops, but then we go to the 4-drops. We got 4 Whis. Ramp, you want to play as many as you can, just to get up into the higher turns faster. 4 Energy Boost Beerus. This is the card in the deck that can KO battle card. It's the only card you really play that can KO something, just anything, just like a target, just a one of. But as a 20k double striker, play it on 5, leave a mana up, and you kill one of their guys. Just a really solid card, staple in a lot of blue decks. Can't really go wrong. Here's a card I don't see a lot of people running, and I think you like have to in this deck. It's 4 Princess Speed Vegeta. It's not a god or anything, but I think you have to run it because drawing cards is one of the big things in this deck. You don't draw too many cards, so a lot of times I was getting stalled out, and I was running like 2 copies, and it's just getting stalled out if you don't draw one. So like I think this is a must 4 of in the deck, because you have to draw cards somehow, and the deck just doesn't draw that many cards. You can cycle cards with your 1-drops, but you need to be able to draw cards, replenish your hand, and this is the best way to do it. And it's just a solid 20k double striker. I mean, it's a really good card. We got 3 Zen-Oh. Basically play him to reset the board if my opponent gets like a huge advantage on board, or hand even, because it does shuffle the hand back in, so it can like reset the hand as well against decks like Ginyu or Vegeta, self-awaken leaders that just draw a bunch of cards and have huge advantage early on. And I mean, if you can get it down, and they don't have a bloodlust, or just against Vegeta, just get it down, while you still have some life left, generally this can swing the game in your favor, or at least put it to where you're not, going to die the following turn. Just a really good card to reset the board, and there's nothing that blue can really play to kill off like all the tokens or the 1-drops, so like that's like the only card you really have, and you're kind of forced to play it. But it is a god, so I mean chances are you can probably use it with a priest later in the game. I run 3 priests. I don't think you need 4. You're probably only ever going to play 1 of this card, and It's a turn 7, so you have plenty of time to get there. I mean, even with ramping, it's still going to be like turn 5 or 6. And you want to make sure you have mana up so you don't die on the swing back, because all the gods come and play tapped into your mana. So you just want to make sure you have enough mana to play this. And then generally you play this, and then the following turn you can play Whis or get like really close to it. In testing, like the card like literally hasn't done that much, to be honest with you, but I think like I haven't played very many like super late game control decks, so I think it like shines in those matchups. Against the aggro decks, you don't really want to play. You just want to kind of survive and then beat them with your normal double strikers like Vegeta or Beerus. You can pressure them out of the game pretty easily. But in the control matchups, you definitely need this to just ramp up to Whis. Try to win the game that way. I play 3 Whis. 3 Whis is plenty. You'll see it by the turn you play it, like turn. And if you hit all the ramp pieces like turn 8 or 9 or something, so you'll definitely see 1, and generally 1's enough to win the game. So yeah, it's just a really good card. With playing Beerus later, you get an extra turn, quad strike. Can't be negated. Just a really amazing card. I mean, if you can get there, it's just insane. That's why the deck's built. If you can get there, you pretty much win. And a card I haven't seen anybody play, not too many people play in this deck, but I think it's really good finisher against like aggro decks. Like, as usually I can get to this turn and drop it and win the game. And it's just the one. It's the one of Vegito, triple strike, triple attack, and it's just like a really solid card you can drop on turn 10 to try and finish the game. Obviously, you got to watch out for Crusher Ball, Kobola, stuff like that. But against other decks, you can try to drop this on 10, and usually it'll win you the game, especially if they're like a Vegeta that's like injuring themselves, or some other deck like he runs a lot of Dash Gokus, is hurting itself. Like, if you can get it down to like 3 life and use this as a finisher, generally this is going to win you the game. If 1 attack goes through, it's 40k. And then it's going on to extra cards. That's all the battle cards in the deck. I don't know. There's not too much I would want to add to the battle cards. Like, I was thinking about, like, instead of this, I was running Zamasu, but Zamasu doesn't... Zamasu's good for the longer game, and generally, when you're at 10 mana, if you can play the long game, you'll just wait to Whis. So, this is a card that you can play against, like, the more aggressive decks that'll finish the game right away instead of, like, prolonging the game like Zamasu does. Zamasu wants to play the long game to keep eating away at your opponent's resources. This just wins you the game. So that's kind of what you need in that scenario. I play 2 results of training. Like I said, I have a lot of aggro meta, so I just run 2 right now. I could see 3 if the meta is like a lot slower in your area, but 2 seems fine. And even if you don't awaken in this deck, as long as you hit your Prince of Speeds and cycle, if they're keeping you at a high life total, that's really good for you, because you can get to the late game and you can eventually Whis them. So they kind of have to pressure you at least a little bit to get you down. So you'll be able to see a couple cards here and there. So it's not as needed as in other decks where you like want to awaken as fast as possible. This deck's kind of okay without doing that. To Mafuba, solid negate. It's pretty good against aggro, I would say, just in testing. Just a really good card against aggro. It stops 2 attacks, essentially, early game, which can push you into the later game. But 2 costs is kind of steep, and so that's why I only have it at 2. But it is a solid card. We got 4 Objection. You want to hit this card on turn 2 every game. You want to basically hit Bulma, Objection, Whis. I mean, that's usually the standard. And just keep going with Whis, as many as you got, until you can get up to the higher turns. But yeah, I usually hardball again for this because it's so important. This or Bulma, just to get your ramp engine going, because it's super strong to go Objection into Whis. You just get so much advantage. You can kind of push the late game a lot quicker. For Senzu Bean, amazing stall card. Just a really, really good card in general. You want to run 4 of it. I even like it better in this format. A lot more aggressive decks or token decks. So essentially, if you have a hand of 2 of these, that pretty much ends your opponent's turn almost, because they're not going to be able to boost past you and get all the get all their tokens up high enough, or even their little aggro guys at 1500. Generally, this will put you at 25, and they'll just stop attacking. So that's like 2 turns of them not attacking, and it's just a good utility card early on to ready up some of your mana. And then the last 4 cards are for Whis' Coercion. Not much to say about this card. Best negate in the game. It allows you to play as many negates as you have in your hand. It's just super amazing. Like, probably one of my favorite cards in the entire game. But that is the entire deck there. I know somebody said to put a link in, not a link, but the list in the description, so I'm going to do that. It's going to be below. And yeah, I hope you guys appreciate the deck profile. I got second at my local this week with it. I ended up losing to blue-red Vegeta in finals. It was just a really rough game. Me and my buddy, we play tested a lot afterwards, and I didn't drop a game out of like 4 or 5 games afterwards. So it's just unfortunate I lost that. But the deck is really good against aggro. Testing against control right now, and it seems to be pretty solid. Seems to be better versus aggro, but it can be really good versus control decks if you get the correct hand or hit all your gods and can ramp up pretty quickly. Alright guys, hope you liked the video. Give me a like, and I'll put the list in the description. Alright, have a good one guys.